Just simple, let's burn retrograde and get into Ike orbit. Let's see, 454, let's bring that down. 108, that looks good. Alright. Only 240 meters per second to do that. Alright. The maneuver node is down here. You can see the faint ghost image of it. So we'll start rotating in that direction, get lined up on that thing, and then we'll warp down and burn it. 1 minute, 27 seconds worth of burn will put us into Ike orbit. And then we come around on the next pass, circularize, and turn the scanners on and start scanning for Kethane. Inclination 59 degrees, that's not bad. Actually, that's pretty good for scanning. This is going to cost us a lot less than that other maneuver would have had we finished it. And cost aside, it's going to be a lot darn sight easier and I think quicker. Alright. Time warping down. Let's see, 127, burn at about 114 or so. Oh well, no. About 45 seconds, yeah. Okay, I don't see where that boulder is. Oh, there it is. And I just went right past the burn time because I wanted to get a view of the thing. So let's burn this thing and hope that this isn't too late. Well, it isn't. It's just going to take a little bit more delta V to do it. Inclination 111. Oh boy, that's going to really have to come down. Good. Coming around and we will get an orbit. Just offhand, looking at the fuel, I'd say we're going to have just nicely enough to get into a position to do some scanning and then do a landing. This thing could never go straight to Dona and land direct. Not enough juice for that, I don't think. Okay, we're curving around, we're getting capture. And we will need to spend some more fuel to do a plane change, but it won't be a majorly big deal. We have Ike orbit. Cut the engines when periapsis gets close to about 100. I'm going to cut it now. Our inclination is continuing to go up. All right. Okay, let's put a maneuver here. Let's see if we can fix this inclination just a little bit. Problem is, I can't tell which way that's going to have to go. I'm going to get lined up with the node and try a little bit of test thrust to see whether I need forward or reverse to get the inclination to go down. Actually, I only need it to be about 30 degrees. Come on, get over there. Okay, now, thrusters. Why do the thrusters not enable? I'm not time warping. But the RCS will not engage. What the heck is that noise? Okay, this is really curious. I cannot engage or disengage SAS. Well, now I can. RCS. Okay. Alright, let's watch the inclination. Forward thrust makes it go up. Reverse thrust is bringing it down. Bring up our node. Keep open. And one thing this isn't showing you is the inclination predictions. Alright. I'm going to get lined up on this node. I'm going to get around to burn time. And then from there, I'm just going to fly it by the seat of my pants. Use this maneuver as a guide, but no more than that. Alright. Time warp down to about 1 minute. Get around here. Slow down and not overshoot. Alright. We're close enough. Get a little bit closer. Okay. Now we're close enough. Let's go ahead and burn this. And the inclination is what I'm looking for. And it's going up. I want it to go down. All right. Let's turn that to a positive number. So that seems to be doing what we need. The number we had didn't work, so we'll flip it around. Line up on the opposite side of the node, basically. And we'll burn our inclination down that way. There we go. Burning. Inclination coming down. Probably not the most efficient way to get this done, but it'll work. And I'm not necessarily going to stop when the maneuver says it's done. I'm more interested in this number here. See, 90 degrees is flat polar. And really, while that would be the most efficient way to map the entire body, I really only need to map the areas that are more equatorial, because that's where I want to land. In a more equatorial region, it will make takeoff that much easier. Okay, we don't need that anymore. We're just flying the numbers now. Keeping an eye on the fuel, of course. Okay, I think 70-ish degrees is going to be about the best we can do. And now we have to do some retro burn to get back to an orbit. The side effect has been an escape, which will also be a Duna escape. So we'll get this back into an orbit, settle down into a nice 150 kilometer orbit, and then the Kethane scanning will commence. And here we go. Let's burn this orbit down to something more reasonable. Something more appropriate for scanning. The periapse is done about 150. Good enough right there. All right. Set a maneuver here for circularization. All right. 156 by 151 looks good. Getting lined up. We'll burn it, and this bad boy will be in Ike orbit the way we want for scanning. Still getting a really low frame rate on this thing. Most of this flight has been at 3 and 4 frames per second, which is part of the reason for so many cuts, because so many things take a long time at low frame rates like that. Alright, warp around to the burn. This will only take 11 seconds of burn. Okay, we're in position. On the night side of Ike, of course. I would really love to see a night vision mod for this. It would make videos look a whole lot better, I think. You can't always control whether you're on the dark side or not. Okay, there we go. Kill that. Alright, we're in position. Let's turn our keythane grid on. And oh boy. Okay, we're in position, so let's go ahead and turn that off. And I'm going to activate the detector, and this thing will now begin scanning keythane. I'm going to jump it up to, oh wait a minute, we'll turn the RCS SAS off. Alright, now I'm going to just jump this sucker up to 50x time warp and let it orbit. And I'm going to let that go for a couple of hours just to make sure we get a good overall scan. And then later on, we'll pick a landing site and get this thing down and refuel it. Alright, here it is a few hours later. And it looks like most of Ike has been mapped. Enough that I can tell that right here there's a pretty good sized patch keythane, and either this orbit or the next orbit it is going to be directly below the flight path. So get back into some time warp, and let's see. Yes, it's going to be this orbit. Close enough anyway. Alright, now let's see. I'm going to turn on the show landing predictions. I wish that was turned on by default. And I will not be using land at target or land somewhere, the automatic landing autopilot. I have found that it doesn't land for squat, at least not in my experience. Alright. Let's drop a maneuver node here and plan a deorbit burn. 256 meters per second is how fast we're going, so we'll do minus 256. And the blue landing prediction marker comes right down in that patch. Excellent. And that's probably a reasonable looking piece of terrain to land on too. And we're mostly in daylight, so that also is good. Alright, let's get lined up with this node. Go ahead and use some RCS here to make it take less than 9 years to get lined up. Fine tune that a little bit. Okay. Now, let's see, how far away from the node? 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Get it down to about 15. Well, no, about a little less than 2 minutes. Alright, that's good right there. And let us engage and burn. Okay. Looking good. One thing I figured out about the landing guidance is that it does take planetary rotation into account. This is a reasonably good equatorial-ish kind of place to land, which will make taking off and heading back to Duna simple. We basically just kill all of our horizontal velocity at one time. And then we just manage things for a nice, gentle landing. Orbital arc is straightening out. Looking good. Slow down the engines. Engines off. Turn that off now. Oh, blast that bloody thing. Flipping around on me. All right. And I just thought of something else too. The fuel in here, let's transfer it down here where it can be useful for landing. We can always refuel this thing later. As it is, in my opinion, we're uncomfortably low on fuel. And let's get rid of this. Make sure we're still coming down on Kethane. We are. Alright, now SAS off. And let's get this thing pointed to retrograde AE, IE, downwards for braking. Okay, we have begun our descent. And I expect it to actually be a somewhat longish type descent because I am in no hurry. 937 fuel says I don't have to be. Alright. Landing gear extended. The lights already on. Zoom in all the way here. We should be in a decent spot to land. I'm going to time warp down just a little bit. Without going too far too quickly. Alright. Okay, anywhere we touch down now, there should be kethane involved. Excellent. Alright, time for a first braking burn. We'll bring the apoapsis down to just above the ship. Okay, looking good. We've still got a fair amount of horizontal speed that has to be addressed. But by doing a major chunk of braking here, we slow down and have the time to deal with that. Okay. And cut the engines. Thrilled about that surface horizontal speed. Alright, let's see if Smart ASS can hold us retrograde. Dead center retrograde. So that any burns I do will affect horizontal as much as they do vertical. Oh, that's not helping. It's going up. Alright, let's try it with some RCS. That's making it go up, so we'll go the other way. That's making it go down a little bit. That's making it go down a lot. So we'll use both of those directions. Get that horizontal speed down. It's important that we're not going very fast horizontally because we don't want to be tipping over at landing. using J and K on the thruster controls to do this, and some H to contribute towards less vertical velocity. Or at least gaining vertical velocity slower. Of course, it'd be easier to do that with the main drive. Just curious, is this thing still balancing? It is not. Alright, liquid fuel is and oxidizer now being balanced to make sure that no one engine runs out of fuel before the others. That would be a bad thing. Okay, that's good. Horizontal speed is almost 12 meters per second. Which from 90 kilometers altitude is pretty good. Kind of expensive in terms of RCS, but worth it, since we can refuel on RCS once we're down. Now descending at 90 meters per second. Horizontal speed is almost down to where we want it. Looking good so far. Basically, I want the horizontal speed sound somewhere less than 1 meter per second so that I can focus on the vertical and being upright and whatnot when we land. Okay. Okay, horizontal speed starting to increase. Now it's coming back down. .80 kilometers altitude, descending at 116 per second. Do a little bit of braking here. Now it's making horizontal speed go up. Yeah, I need to lose a considerable amount more altitude before doing too much more. Alright, we'll time warp down to about 50,000, or no, 40,000, and see how that goes. Approaching 40,000. Okay, 40 kilometers. Let's get some braking going on. Okay. I can't zoom in any further here. Oh boy. I wish I could see more detail of exactly where we're coming down. Because that doesn't quite look so much like a good place now. Not that there's any choice at this point. We have to land. We haven't enough fuel not to. Alright, engaging the skipper engine for landing. Time warp to about 20 kilometers. Well, actually we are 20 kilometers above the surface. I just realized. Altitude true is a whole lot lower than altitude real, or sea level. Okay. Not too thrilled about our landing location, but we no longer have a choice. Okay, go to surface mode, 90, 90, 90. What are you doing? What's with all this turning around all over the place? You only had a simple move to do. Engines off. Because we started climbing again. And we don't have fuel for that. Concentrating on killing the horizontal speed. Because while my vertical speed is as low as it is, this is my one good shot to do that. Beginning to wish I'd left the rover in orbit. As it occurs to me, it's going to make this thing top heavy. And 12 kilometers above the surface, probably a good time to retract the solar panels. Don't want to be breaking them off. Okay, these two directions seem to be reducing horizontal speed, so we'll keep that up for a bit. 11 kilometers altitude. Above the so-called sea level. Although sea level on a body that has no seas is kind of really ridiculous. Skipper off. It's using too much fuel. And in fact, we're very nearly out of fuel. Horizontal speed is just about where I need it to be. This is a bloody good thing. I'm going to have to start braking hard here very soon. And that's going to use up about the remainder of the 300 units of fuel we've got left. This ship at liftoff had something like 70,000 liters of fuel. And we get to Ike and we've got a paltry 300 left to land on. SAS on. Because I have a sneaky feeling we're coming down on a hillside, and I hate that. We no longer have any choices. Okay, just enough acceleration to be lowering our speed, slowing our descent. Trying to push that retrograde marker to the center. Less than 3 kilometers altitude now. Still no shadow to be seen. Turn that thing off. Two kilometers above the surface. Landing lights aren't showing anything. I'm not seeing shadows. Thought I saw one there for a second, but it's a spot on the coffee stain on the monitor, would you believe? .5 kilometers. Time to start killing that velocity big time. I can start to see the terrain move under me. So I know a little bit better about which direction to tilt the ship to kill that velocity. At least I thought so. $85 units of fuel left. We're coming down kind of hot. On a hillside. Just under 10 meters per second. Oh, this is going to be close. This is going to be so effing close. 56 fuel remaining. $200. 170 meters. 32 fuel remains. Come on. You do not have permission to crash. 11 fuel remaining. I got a stinking feeling it's going to. $50 meters above the surface. This is it. This is it. I have a velocity on orbit, not surface. Can't believe I did that. And this is because I had my velocity on orbit here. It was showing me orbit instead of surface, and surface is what I needed. Otherwise, maybe I could have landed. As it is, it's time for a rage quit, and I'm going to bring another ship out here and try again. And for that flight, I'm going to skip all of the stuff about launching and getting lined up with the right planetary alignment and the trip over and so on. And we'll go straight to the Ike landing. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. I'm out of here. It's rage quit time.